Welcome to School Leader Vibes, a podcast where three friends from high school who are now in charge of running high schools gather to discuss the world of educational leadership, one story at a time. Today, Jordan, Matt, and I dive into the challenging conversations that arise from this current politically charged environment. From the recent US and upcoming Canadian elections to challenging conversations in general, we offer some strategies and considerations when diving into these discussions as leaders. Thanks for joining us for some laughs, inspiration, and a whole lot of leader vibes. Here we go.
Yeah. So let me just think about, what did you actually write in the chat here? So your topic suggestion in the chat was how the effects of the current political situation in the U.S. is trickling into our schools.
Yeah.
It's big. It's a tough one to talk about.
Okay, well, hold on. Why don't we back up? How's your day today? It's exam week, right?
Right.
It's different for the school, but how much different is it for you?
Well, I'll let you go first because when I brought it up last time, you all got angry at me because I said,
what are you talking about?
Because I said things were winding down a bit, so I'll let you go first.
No.
How was your day today, Matt?
It was great.
Yeah.
I just ate lunch. It's like 2:15.
It's like almost dinner time and you're only eating lunch now?
Yeah.
So it's hopping.
Well, you just have different people, and like you're not dealing with students all day. Mm-hmm. You're dealing with families, right? Supporting families in like the next step, because here we are, end of semester one, and some kids aren't getting their credits, right? Or some kids are going to the next step in their education, whatever that is. Yeah. And you're just working with families on that. It is busy, but it's a great time to like hit the pause button and connect with them because you have a second to do it.
Yeah, I had a staff member ask me if it's quieter for us because there's not as many students in the building. Surely there's less issues, but there's a lot of people that are hitting the panic button right now. Yeah. Like anxiety about something new and finishing something that they're trying to get through right now. So I think there's a lot of people sort of on edge. And a lot of questions, staff as well.
And teachers too.
Right, that are kind of like unsure about what's going to come. Yeah. They're all happy to be done the semester, but they're now thinking of what's the next semester going to bring, right?
Yeah. It's weird because it's the conversations you're having now is not so much with student discipline or support or whatever. It's more in terms of like, hey, should I give this kid a second chance? How do I market? I haven't seen him in a while. Like, how do I accommodate but still stay true to the course, still stay true to the curriculum expectations? So and I love those conversations. Like that's where you really get to be innovative and really dive to the assessment evaluation policies, and really these conversations, like these exam days, are the best PD days, right? Like it's where a lot of teachers get a lot of PD,
a lot of professional conversation about like philosophical approaches to kids, right? Mm-hmm. And the interesting part that I'm noticing is I find it fascinating how different staff approach the same student. Yeah, it's like almost like mind blowing, like because we're not like always comparing notes. Like, hey, this is how this teacher approached that kid. We're not saying that, but we're seeing how.
And think about it from the kids and the family's perspective, where like it's so different from course and by teacher, right? Like where here it's like, oh yeah, sure, no problem, I'll accommodate, I'll do this, and then here it's way more hiccups. So they're kind of walking in blind and not really knowing what to expect. Like they're really vulnerable.
Yeah. So that's a thorny situation that we find ourselves in sometimes. And what about this political situation in the United States?
There was an election.
I was thinking we're on talking about thorny topics. That's pretty thorny right there.
A couple months ago, right? Inauguration day was last week.
Have you seen anything trickle into your schools?
Just Matt wearing his mega hat.
Oh, right.
That's a joke, obviously. Sorry.
I think you got to say that.
Yeah. I actually think maybe that's a way that sometimes
disclaimer.
We need to approach that, is with a sense of hubris or humility, because people get very serious about this topic. Yeah. And it's hard to have a real conversation sometimes. Obviously, we got into teaching in the early 2000s-ish, I guess. 2007, around the time we started. And it feels like things politically have just been so polarized and people entrenched in views. Whereas, when I first started teaching, I felt like you could actually have a conversation without so much emotion attached to it. Mm-hmm. And right now, it's emotionally charged.
Yeah, it's hard to have conversations now. And it's because, I don't want to sound negative, So I just attribute to that people care, right? Like people care so
Absolutely.
much. And even going back to our earlier conversation about the end of the semester and exams, teachers care. Teachers care about kids. They care about their course content. Like it's when you care and when you're passionate about something, that's sometimes where it's the hardest topics to have conversations around, right? It's hard to keep an open mind too sometimes as well, and to hear the other opinions or the other voices. But that's where we grow.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the point. Not everyone's going to have the same belief as you, right? But when they come in, I think that's the starting point. That parent, they care about that kid just as much as you, and the teachers care about that kid. And it's about getting to a resolution, like where everyone maybe is not happy, but what's best for the kid, knowing like we have our own professional opinion and training and experience and things like that. But then the family on the flip side knows that kid really well too. Mm-hmm. And like, how do you put those two things together to, sort of meet in the middle per se?
Yeah.
Right? So you can move on. And, it's valuable what they have to say. They have to be part of it. So knowing that we have some people who have different views than maybe a philosophy of a school, like how do we entertain those conversations and use those ideas as part of the plan for their kiddo, right?
Yeah. How do you set up those conversations? Like, how do you set the stage?
In a classroom or like with parents, you mean?
I would say in our roles, right? So with teachers, whether you're talking about the political climate or politics, or whether you're talking about exams or end of term or supporting a kid, like how do you have those conversations when you have someone that's really passionate and opposing views?
Yeah, I had one today, sort of, and it was about, for me, first off, identify who needs to be there, because not everyone needs to be part of the conversation. Doesn't need to, and sometimes everyone does. Right. So number one, identifying who needs to be there, and then I like talking to the parent ahead of time just to say, okay, this is the intention of the meeting. This is what we're going to focus on. For me, I feel like that works, just to center them a day ahead of time, so we're not coming in and just talking about everything, all of our issues. We're not going to unload like the last 3 years of what happened at school or anything like that. Like, what's our focus going to be, and then just trying to stay on that topic to get it started.
Right.
Yeah.
I like to consider venue, like where it's going to be, right? Because sometimes I find that if it's hosted in the teacher's classroom, or if it's hosted in the principal's office, like it has a certain connotation tied to it, right?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really tough topic. And when we're talking about students and political landscape and espousing views, that's a very delicate line to kind of toe.
Yeah.
And I think we got to bring to the forefront or a reminder of what our role and purposes in education as staff, and our goal is not to impart our own views on students. It's to actually help students think critically. And one of the hardest parts of that is there's just so much information out there. I'm not going to say misinformation, because sometimes it's hard to tell what is true. Right? It's a version of someone's truth that you're getting online.
Right.
And whatever you're into, you can find things to support or refute that view. So what we're dealing with now is, obviously since the advent of the internet, but even like social media and these channels and even mainstream media, it's hard to know who to trust. There's probably a lack of trust in government institutions as well. Mainstream media, there's a lack of trust there. You saw it with COVID. So whatever we can do to create an environment where people can actually just listen to another view that is not consistent with theirs and be able to consider it. Whatever we got to do to get there, we need to start getting there. Because we're having a hard time even getting these topics. People just avoid them. Because they don't want to get into it. They think it's because it's emotionally charged. But setting up the framework for, like Matt said, even the parent conversation. Like, what's the goal of this conversation? What are we hoping to achieve here? If it's just understand the other point of view, maybe that's good. Get an understanding of where people are coming from. Right?
And you talked about trust, and that's the blessed burden that we bear, is that kids are with us, students are with us, sometimes longer than with any other adult in their life, and they trust their teacher, they trust us, right? So if they can't even have conversations with someone with an open mind and to consider all thoughts, and to guide them along in terms of how do you use the info that's being delivered to you, right? Then where did they turn to? They turn to some dangerous role models that you do encounter on the Instagram reels, and right?
And even think of the impact of a teacher maybe chastising the view or political thought of a student. how that could be received, right? It could be very damaging. It's because, like I said, we're polarizing people. So to say anyone that voted this way or that way, to paint them with the brush that all these things are true about them because they voted a certain way, that doesn't really take into consideration the complexity of humans. Right. It's kind of ridiculous when you think about it, right? I know there are people, especially in Canada, we're fortunate, I think, that people can change their political party or who they vote for, and that's probably more common in our system than it is in the United States. Like, it's this or that. Yeah. Where it's like this, that, or maybe that. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So I don't know if we're more open to hearing other points of view. That's been my experience as a voter in Canada. I don't know about you, but...
And I think it needs to be said too, like to your points, our school is a representation of our community, right? So we have different backgrounds, different ideas in our community. So when they come to our school, like, we have to honor all of them. We can't go and say, well, I'm the teacher in the room, or I'm the principal of the school. Like, the ideology of our school is going to be this. I think to your point, like, we ask questions to seek to understand and, push people to discern for themselves. But, we have to honor, like, what is the community and who are the people that are in it, and not just, push them in one direction or another. Right, we have to bring them in to the conversation.
Right, and even when those voices do come to the forefront, if it's students that are, doing something or saying something that has to do with political affiliation, it's important that we just listen. Yeah, they're kids trying to make their way in the world and formulate opinions, but to help them think critically, that's the role of a gifted educator, in my opinion. Yeah.
So case study here now, okay? Uh-oh. So what happens, how do you react when things are going south? So you're part of a conversation, and it's not going so well, and not all voices are being heard or considered, and judgment, etc. So how do we handle that? It's a tough one.
You gonna hit that one, or?
I'm just thinking about it.
Why did everyone get all quiet all of a sudden, right? It happens all the time in our office.
Yeah,
right?
I think there's some questions.
Or is it just mine, right?
No, yeah. It depends on the circumstance, for sure.
I do like asking questions, like the whole tell me more about that. Like, can you tell me, where have you seen that, or how has that come up? Like, just again, seeking to understand and gathering more information. And I do think, that's a strategy that I use to buy myself more time to think about it too, like in that meeting. Or, just to sort out my own way of thinking, right?
If we're talking about political views being kind of shared or enforced on students in the classroom, again, that's a tough topic. But I for sure have a case study that came up, and it came up this year with the change in power in the United States, and I was hearing some things also too, just amongst staff. It wasn't necessarily with students. And in my case, my response was to send an email reminder about our role and our purpose in guiding these discussions and not placing judgment on people that have a certain view. And that might have been the right approach. It might not have been. But I think at that point, it was a general reminder for our place and our purpose in these conversations, right? Because it's easy to jump onto a trend or a thing when things are going a certain direction. Yeah, it's easy to say that this ideology is flawed. It's easy, right? But that's not really our role to do that. Yeah. So in my case, I handled that interaction that occurred in the classroom with a general reminder of what our place is as educators. And I think it did hit a note for some people. It definitely had a lot of questions come back to me about it. Yeah,
that email is it's a tough email to write.
Oh yeah.
First, I don't even want to know how many hours.
It is. It took me a little bit of time. Yeah. I ran it by our team of principals and decided this was the best approach. And I mean, I wish I could go back and show you the revisions I had to it. Yeah. Because at the beginning it was really strong, and after talking with more voices, the edge came off of it a little bit, and I think it landed better because of it. So I'm glad that I asked other people before I did that. Nice. But I felt like it needed to be done, right? And it was brought to me also. It was brought to my attention by a staff member that I trust. They overheard something, and if they're overhearing it, I actually overheard something in the staff room about a negative opinion of the results of the election, and part of the email was about how lucky are we to live in democracy, and can we just revel in that for a moment and be grateful for that, and that we can have supposedly discussions openly and honestly without being so critical of somebody.
That's brilliant,
right? It was hard.
Yeah.
That one I'll think about a lot.
I say it's great because it does offer that spark that then that there's those side conversations happening within each staff room or program area, etc. Right? So, and because we can't possibly connect with each individual, 100%. Right? So we just send out that little 100%. Spark to think about, and
as well as we all know that like whatever you share to like a all users group or whatever, someone's forwarding that to somebody else, somewhere else.
Yeah.
People will see that aren't even in your building that you sent it to. You just know that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right? Or, I can't believe my principal said this. Like maybe he wears a mega hat or a mega shirt under his suit. But it wasn't about that, right? It's about standing up for something in the moment to help students. Right. Again, that's who we're here for, to help students. So to make them feel like they don't belong because of something they believe, and they might not even believe it. They might just have said it.
Yeah.
Why are we ostracizing a group of people just because they're young? They're young kids just trying to figure it out. Like,
I agree.
Shut them out.
It's when I was at teachers college way back in the day. Actually, you went to the same teachers college.
Yeah, you and I went to the same one together.
Yeah. Well, Jordan was supposed to go to my teachers college, but then he left me hanging dry.
I went north. Actually, I went north.
Going back, we took that American history course that I hated was because you were going to join me.
It's true.
And then you didn't even end up.
It's true.
You left me high and dry, man.
I know.
But
apologize.
They're really big on those teachable moments, right? And this is like, what better example of a teachable moment than the election, which got a lot of people with a lot of varying opinions and really passionate. And let's use this real life experience and real life event to teach kids how to think critically and consider all points of view.
I think that's a great point. I think there's definitely over the years that we've been in education, I actually think this isn't a bad thing, because I actually feel people are present to the concept of democracy now and think that their voice does matter, and that's great. Because there was a time, especially in Canadian politics, there was a lot of apathy, like whatever, like whoever's in power, it doesn't matter. Voter turnout's low. So I feel like there's definitely revival of people are like, look, I need to do that. I need to go out and vote. I need to get informed, which is great. But just respecting each other is really important.
Yeah, totally. We took a class to the Ontario legislature, and they have this simulation of voter turnout. So they give kids these cards, and it tells them what age group they are and their job, etc. And then it actually shows, like, through this simulation, what percentage of the population actually does vote. All the kids took part in that simulation, their jaw dropped. Where it was like the 40 plus, they were the ones that were highly represented in the vote. And then you see the discrepancy in the voter turnout, and then
that's right.
So we got a lot of commitments out of these grade 10s that were like,
cool.
we're gonna vote, we're gonna go out and vote no matter what. So we'll see how it translates. But it was a really cool activity.
So do you guys have any concerns now with the way the election has gone in the U.S. and the impact it might have in your school?
It's a good question.
Have you thought about that at all?
I've thought about it a lot. I don't know if you have. I haven't thought about it as much as it relates to school, but there's a certain part of me that has some big questions about this whole flippantly thinking that we can just annex Canada. That part, like, it was all like, okay, like, open mind, and now I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, our sovereignty is being threatened in a way that I've never heard before, and that, as a proud Canadian, I guess, someone who loves this country, I'm like, what is that all about? And I don't know. Is that,
something out of left field? Yeah,
I'm like, I've never heard that before. I've never heard it. It's never been in our vernacular. This possibility now that's being spoken about so, like, casually.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, my ear is like wide open to this. I'm like, what's that all about?
Yeah. My son was asking questions about, like, hey, if Canada joins US, and I'm like, what? Like, where are you getting this from? Like, where did you hear this? And like, generally really concerned and asking, like, great questions, even like, would we keep our dollar? Because it's not really fair if we then have to lose a lot of our money because of the conversion and stuff.
It's crazy.
And I'm just like, you're in grade 6. Like, you're in grade 6 and you're worried about this. So it's certainly out there.
It's kind of wild that people can. Yeah, I think when just the way that the president operates is he just kind of like puts it out there, and then all of a sudden like that's so far fetched. But then maybe he's trying to get something kind of in the middle ground, right?
Yeah.
Some type of partnership.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how people can kind of just accept that as like something just because someone says it. It's like, wow.
Well,
like,
it's the socials, right? Like, it goes out there, and then social media just takes it and runs with it, and
runs with it.
we get snippets of info here and there, and
absolutely.
Yeah, and I do see that. Where I see it more in our school is the labeling, right? That oh, you're a Democrat, you're a Republican, and it's like, well,
That's
actually,
right.
I'm neither, because I'm in Canada. We don't have those parties here,
that's
right? But it's that labeling that I see happening more that wasn't really there.
I agree. What do you think?
Yeah, I just wonder if like it goes along with the culture of parents, and we know some of them are emboldened, right, to call the school and ask for certain things, and from how students are doing in their course and redoing assessments to hey, I don't want my student to read that book. Why is that part of the curriculum and things like that, or why has the teacher made a choice to include it as part of their curriculum? I wonder if it emboldens more people to make those calls to the school, right? If we see more requests that, like I haven't heard that one before. Mm-hmm. We're starting to see more and more of those things.
I agree.
I'm curious about
I think
that.
it does embolden people for sure. But again, we got to go back to like the discourse, like what you mentioned earlier is a great point. Like, what's the focus of this? What's the scope of this conversation, especially with parent? Like sometimes when you talk about like books, for example, right? Like books, maybe people don't think should be included. It's like, what's the scope of this conversation here? Are we talking about like your kid and their experience? Or are we talking about you don't like the whole system?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But we're getting more of those.
We're getting more of that. We don't like the whole system.
That's right.
Or even, are we even talking about your experience when you were in school?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of parents are coming from that perspective, right? Not
That's right.
realizing how much a change has happened.
So much change. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like, we're early on in this new change of power, and we're also set to have our own change of power.
That's what I was going to say.
In this
I
country.
think it's going to be highly influenced by what the outcome is coming in with us. Like, we're in Canada and Ontario, and right now there's even Doug Ford, who's our current premier. Even he's talking about having elections. So there could be a provincial and
100%.
federal all within the year, right?
And I do think a big topic is now going to be our national sovereignty, right?
Yeah.
So, are we going to... I mean, I've been listening to all our political leaders up to this point, even our provincial leadership, and it seems like that's the vision they all have. Like, Canada's Canada. And I really hope that that's the way it continues, right? But it seems like that people are going to be wondering about that now. People are actually asking that question, like, what do they think about this? Like, especially our conservative leadership, people are thinking that, just because they're conservative, they align with Republicans, they're just going to acquiesce to whatever President Trump wants. But so far, that's not what they're saying. Right?
Let's talk about that, though. Okay, so what if? Right, because I would see it as we would keep our sovereignty, but it would be something kind of like what Europe has.
EU, yeah,
where
that's
it's like
different.
The EU, where
different.
Where it's still, you have your own countries and laws, but
that's different, yeah.
You have trade agreements and you share like $1, like it could be like the North American dollar,
I think
something like that, right? Like,
I think it's probably where it's going to end up, where he's making some statements that suggest he's shooting for like a full annex and takeover, but really it might just be trying to strengthen some partnerships and strategic alliance to better position ourselves in the world. And obviously we're gonna be open to listen to that, and it might get there. It might just make sense for all parties, right? As long as we still get to keep Canada, we're good.
Yeah.
In my books, anyway. I don't know. What do you think?
I agree. How about you, Matt? You're awfully quiet there. I don't know.
I'm
You're
just
kind of guarded.
guys.
You're
All
kinda
All
guarded.
of us. Weren't you like the political science guy?
Yeah, I'm looking at you guys with an 8.
So we have
right now.
So I want to say, so we have an economics major. We got a
Phys ed person.
phys ed major,
Yeah.
and then we got the poli sci
History
guy
poli sci, that's right.
who's quiet. We all got our masters.
I'm just trying to not
Yeah, I
jump
got-
in on you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, none of that's going to happen, right?
Really?
No, because...
Not even like us having the U.S. dollar. You don't think that's possible?
No.
You're no chance.
No chance.
Yeah, I think there's a chance.
there's not-
50%.
There's
You
not...
ready to wager on that, or what?
I don't think that there's the the cultural weight pushing for that change in Canada.
In Canada.
Yeah, and we're our own country.
Yes.
Right.
That's right. I'm all with that. Let's
That's
do
right.
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's not. I think a lot of people are proud to be Canadian and what it stands for.
Absolutely.
And I think a big part of it is we're different than the United States on many fronts, and that's what makes our country better. Thinking about how we treat people, how we welcome people, how we encourage people to keep their cultures, and the path that our country is going on is a different path than the United States is going on.
Well,
and I think
now
it's
I know
something
why.
to be proud about.
Now I know why that he kept quiet this whole time. He said some pretty bold
Holy
statements
smokes.
there, man.
Okay, but I think our economics,
I'm going to have one of these right now.
our economics person is a numbers person who would say that we rank higher than the United States in a lot of key categories. Quality of life, access to education, access to healthcare, our education system in terms of PISA scores.
Yeah.
Like there is legitimate data that says we are a really good country.
Exactly.
All right, so let's keep it that way.
I agree.
All right.
I agree. Heavy topic,
Not
boys.
bad. Holy smokes.
Right?
Not bad for our first time hanging out together.
Not bad for our first hangout here,
We
but
just scratched the surface. We'll have to do a part 2 in a couple months on
We
this
will.
one.
to
That's
see
right.
how it goes.
When Pierre Poilievre is our prime minister.
Oof. Another bold one. Are we all good here still? Are we all still friends now? Or?
Oh, absolutely. See how we had that discourse?
We're still
we
friends?
didn't identify like who we were potentially voting for, right? But we had a good open conversation. Maybe that's a model for how people can talk to each other about politics. What do
There
you
you
think?
go.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe, right?
I gotta just tell my dad that. 'Cause he's really serious about this stuff. So,
My dad too, but
Passion
cool.
comes
it's
through.
all good intentions though.
Yeah.
all right, putting a bow on that one.
Yep.
Good job, guys. Way to go.
All right.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of School Leader Vibes. We're incredibly grateful for your time and your contribution to shaping the future, one student at a time. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to connect with us on Instagram at School Leader Vibes for more inspiration. Lastly, please share the podcast with fellow leaders and educators who might benefit from these conversations. Until next time, keep vibing.